I'm Norm, plain and simple. I just tell people, just Norm. I do have many titles, I wear many hats, I do many things. Well, there's so much out there, I don't even know. We did have medicine teachings here through our cultural program. Invited a couple of medicine people out here, and we had a gathering here over the weekend here at Spruce Haven, and they went out in the woods, showed some medicines, what it looks like, how to gather it, what time of year to gather it, what its uses are, and then we were able to make a salve or stuff. And I just happened to be at one of the gentlemen that was there was Fred Paul, which passed away there last year. So I was just over there for the weekend for him at his burial site. There was ceremony and stories told then, and then the next day there was he has a lot of written stuff about when he talked to his grandmother. His grandmother shared him a lot of stories, why things were that way back then, and then the medicines and how the medicines are and how they're to be used. That's a great resource, and the person that passed away too is, another great source. But again, when these people pass away, they take that with them. But it just so happens, his wife at the time says, we need to document this. At first he was like, nope. Then one day he come right out and says, where's your pen and paper? You start writing this stuff down. Because they realize that when the time comes, if it's not written down or documented, it is gone. And you're not going to get it all.
Oh God, my mother picked up a lot of stuff from the woods. Lots and lots. Leaves and stuff like that. Sometimes I even remember some of the stuff that, for coal. She used to go along the ocean there and find that flag root for coal. She would dig it and bring it home and hang it up, dry it out and make tea with it. And that used to be good for cold. And we had a plant and leaf. They grow everywhere. Plant and leaf grows. If you got a cut on your hand, you put plant and leaf over the sore and you wrap it up. It'll draw the poison out of you, whatever, we used to use that. There was a lot of medicine we used to use in the woods.
I remember you telling me about Band-Aids.
Yeah.
You had Band-Aids, you used sap?
Yeah.
What was that?
That's the oil from the trees. Well, the grease. The grease was to put it on our hand and wrap it up. Yeah, it used to be looks just like grease once you warm it all up over the stove. Make it soft so you can put it on your hand.
So you get the stuff from the trees, you'd cook it, and then you'd wrap it around your hand?
Yeah. No, we didn't cook it. We just warmed it up so it'd be a little lighter so you can pour it on your hand, on the sore. That's how we used to do it. We never eat it or nothing like that. We just used it for medicine a lot of the time. Leaves and roots from a tree, all kinds of stuff. I remember her digging it out. Even bark on the tree, the hammerlock tree, she used to tell me. That used to be good medicine. TB, for TB, and I don't know what else she was telling me that cures. Yeah. We had a lot of medicine from the woods, and it was to work. Because none of us, I don't remember growing up going to the hospital too much. Very seldom. You'd have to go to a place, to get help or something. I never seen that. Dad cut his leg right here, the chainsaw one time working in the woods, and he said, no, don't worry about it, boys. He was half shot. He'd go in the woods and get that look for a fir tree with the big buds on it. And he was to bust them right in the winter, put that on his legs like that and wrap it up with a handkerchief. Wrap that all up, and he was to go to work right there and keep right on working. He had to cut that long on his leg right here. But it went in about that deep, I think, the sore. And when we got home, they took him to the hospital then. But he worked right straight through with that cut like that. Yeah.
So smudging would be taking an abalone shell and then put in the herbs in there. The herbs that were utilized, or the medicines that we call them, would be tobacco, cedar, sweetgrass, or sage. And sometimes some people use different aspects. Instead of tobacco, they use red willow bark back then, and so there's also bear root instead. So there was many different aspects of medicines that were used, and they would light it up, and then a smoke would come, and so they would use this smoke to smudge themselves, and in smudging themselves, again, almost like the sweat lodge, they would take out the impurities, because we accumulate these impurities on a daily aspect. And so when we're driving or we're going through life, somebody will say something, and we are like an energy. This negative energy is attracted to us, and so it stays with us. So the smudging and the sweat lodge and so on really is a time of just prayer. It's a time of getting rid of these impurities that are not your own. Some may be of your own, but sometimes it isn't. So,
and the teachings were very strict before, in the past, even now, store-bought tobacco. And people were saying, well, you should use more organic tobacco with no chemicals and stuff. But over the years, we learned to, what's the word? Adapt, improvise. So we go to the store and buy pouch tobacco, where we could be outgrowing our own tobacco. Sweetgrass, we gather our sweetgrass. A lot of people within our community and other communities know about sweetgrass. Everybody wants sweetgrass, but they won't go out and gather it. You know what I mean? And again, it's that instant society again. But if a person really wants something, they'll go out and find the means to get it. And I've done that. I transplanted sweetgrass. So when I need sweetgrass, I just go out and cut it. I cut it. And the reason why I cut my sweetgrass is I leave the roots there. And it will grow back. Some people just pick it all, and then you go back next year, there's a big bare spot where there's no sweetgrass. So that taught me big lessons by just observing that. And it's like, but I've always cut mine, because that's the way I was taught. And then your sage, we do have a wild sage here, but a lot of people don't know what it looks like. And a lot of people, again, aren't gathering the medicines. So those who need it will order it online if they want it bad enough. Things have changed. Things you want now you have to buy. And that's just, Now for me, I had people in the past says, Norm, I'd like to give you money for this and that. And I says, no. This is what I do. He says, I didn't have to pay for what I got. And I just tell people, if you really want to make a donation for firewood.